Hey YouTube, I am Miasmic Smog. I'm a producer at TheSmogProductions, and I'm actually gonna start making videos now. I was in it at the beginning, and I didn't do anything, so I figured I'd do some stuff. Make some Skyrim videos, Battlefield 3, maybe Modern Warfare 2 if I get it, Modern Warfare 3. So yeah, I'll be working on that. Might try to do a little walkthrough of Skyrim, just the main quest series, maybe the Mages Guild, or whatever it's called now, Winterhold College, just to help y'all out if you get stuck. I'm also quite the newbie, so if I get stuck, don't worry, I'll get through. Don't throw yourself out halfway through the videos. I persevere. Okay, so this is Skyrim. Essentially, it's above Cyrodiil, which was the main focus of Oblivion, the game before this. It's way north, and it's where all the Nords live. If you don't know, they're essentially barbarians. They're huge, it's based off of archaic Germany. So the blonde guy is important to this quest. He'll guide you through. You need to remember him. The guy in the robe, he'll call him the horse thief if you're actually playing the game when you watch this. He's not important. He gets shot. But the guy with the binds over his mouth, he's very important. His name is Ulfric Stormcloak. He's one of the main focuses of this game. So remember him for sure. Essentially, he knows these things called dragon shouts, which you'll learn later on in the game. And I'll explain them to you as we get through. But he can use his voice as a weapon, which you'll also learn as your character can do. Really cool. This is Helgen. This place will get blown up. It kind of sucks to begin with. Oh, don't mind me. I forgot to put on subtitles there. Anyway. So, essentially, you're about to get killed. You're here because you were crossing some border, or you're an illegal alien. You're gonna die. Besides that, I'll start to focus less on the game and more on the game. Not that game. And so, one of the biggest parts of this game is character creation. In these next few minutes of the video, I'm going to be making my character. That is one of the most important things. Every race you pick comes with a different outcome. Some people will like you, some people will hate you. If you're a Nord, the Nords like you. If you're not a Nord, the Nords hate you. It essentially goes on from there. It also depends on your abilities. If you make an orc, the big green things, they're essentially tanks. They're big warriors who swing big weapons and wear big armor. You're not going to be a mage. Your character starting out with mage abilities is going to be terrible. There's the Nords. It gives you a little description. I skipped up just for the time of this to pick a high elf. I like magic. And in this game, I do a lot of magic. That's just how I play. So you can pick anyone you want. Read the description. Some of them will be focusing on warrior classes like the Orc or the Imperials, but I picked the High Elf. They focus more on magic. I'm going to do what's called being a spell sword or a battle mage. So I'm going to train on basically one-handed weapons and magic. And I'm going to use them in combination, which I'll show you how to do later for those who don't know this game, to essentially be awesome. The war paint and the face doesn't matter, so don't really focus on that. I'm just going through it because I can. I want to make my character look pretty badass. So, a big strategy that people use is either focus on all melee weapons, so pick a Nord or an Orc and wield big axes, or use magic. Bows are very underused and overlooked. In certain scenarios, they can be really helpful. In most scenarios, they're not very practical at all. I'm very creative with names. Also another perk of me being here. So, I picked Mage. Just going to use that for now. Moving on from character creation. You can read into that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm taking you through the quests. I might try to make another video on character creation. I guess it might help players who don't really know the game. I barely know the game. Anyway, so they're essentially saying that they're going to kill you because you're there. They have no reason to kill you. Every Oblivion game, or every Elder Scrolls game, I should say, starts out with you in prison, I've noticed. Either you're getting killed or you're in a cell, and you always break free. And I don't know why. They never say why you're in prison. I'm assuming this time you hop some border. Okay. They're talking to Ulfric, telling him why he's sent in Stormcloak. He leads the Stormcloak Rebellion. They're essentially a bunch of Nords who are angry at the other races, because they're racist barbarians. And they want to kill everyone. And take back Skyrim. For the Nords. The Empire, the guys who look like angry Romans, they are essentially working against the Nords and the Stormcloaks to keep Tamriel, the entire world, in one piece. The shouts you hear, which you'll see in a moment, I mean if you're listening to the game volume, the shouts are essentially what's going to free you from prison. Because you never actually serve your sentence in these games. Who does that? Yoink. Okay. So, back to characters. I want to talk about them more. I just have this feeling that you need to learn about characters. Needlessly. This is just one big cutscene. This quest is full of cutscenes. Most quests will be more action, so if you just want to watch it, you don't have the game, skip to later videos. They'll show you more about killing things and working your way through tedious dungeons. This is all about who you are and why you're here in Skyrim, your place. You're about to get killed, essentially. And in this, you get freed. You begin to run through a dungeon and learn your background and your destiny. But your background means a lot. Like, my main character, because I made this high elf for the whole point of starting out from level 1 and working my way through the quests. But I think that making a character is... there are a few factions that will accept or deny your character based on who they are. And I might talk about them in my character creation video that I'm thinking about making. But I suggest for new players that either picking an Imperial or a High Elf are probably the best options for new players who don't really know what to do. The other races are more complicated. They take more time. The thief races, like Wood Elves and Khajiits, they're geared towards people who know the games, are big fans of the Elder Scrolls series. They know what to do and how to do it. They know how to sneak. That's a big thing overlooked in this game, is sneaking. It can give you damage bonuses. It can save you from, perpetually over time, hours and hours of spending time just fighting things. And it's actually really helpful just throughout the game. Lockpicking is actually really big in Skyrim, as opposed to where in Oblivion it was kind of overlooked, because if you just trained Alteration on a door for an hour, you could unlock all the spells to open, locks in the entire game. They got rid of that in Skyrim. No more Alteration. You can't just open locks with a click of a right trigger. You actually have to pick them all now, which I think is okay. It inspires you to go pick more locks, I guess. You actually need to train your lockpick skill for something, even if you're not a thief. But it also, I think, takes away from Alteration, because they even give potions to drink, to breathe water. So your entire Alteration skill is no longer, Beast of Burden or anything like that anymore. It's geared towards essentially creating light. That's about all I've ever used Alteration for. That, and maybe using the Calm spell every now and then. It doesn't serve much of a purpose. I think they killed it. Okay, to the actual game now that I'm doing things. So after your, 4-hour cutscene's over, you get a choice to go with the Imperial or the Stormcloak. Both of them end up the exact same way, so it doesn't really matter which side you pick, I guess. I mean, either way, you're going to get out of Helgen, you're going to depart on your way with them, you're never going to talk to them again or see them again. I picked the Stormcloak just because I like fighting Imperials. I love to hear them die. You come in here, and Ralof, who is the Stormcloak that I picked, He'll unbind you and tell you to grab that guy's stuff. Now here's where dead bodies come into play. Whenever something dies, you pick up its stuff. No exceptions. If something dies, even if you have like 20 enemies to defeat and you wait until they're all dead, you always loot the bodies. That is how you get weapons. That is how you get the majority of your gold. That is how you find really cool things that can unlock quests. Essentially, if you don't pick up dead bodies, you'll be forced to buy everything. And merchants in this game are really expensive unless you have a really high speech skill. Like this guy, he had a weapon and armor. Now I'm gonna equip that weapon and armor because it'll serve me a purpose later on in the game. Weapons are always good. Essentially, what the game says is that for one-handed weapons, there are 3 kinds. Swords. I'm not even gonna include daggers here. Daggers are useless. Swords, maces, and axes. Swords are the fastest, axes are in the middle, and maces are the slowest. But in that same order, they get stronger. So maces are the strongest. I prefer axes. They're stronger than swords, and they swing about a little under their speed. Not that much noticeable. Always take axes, in my opinion, for one-handed weapons at least. And in the interest of using magic, because my character is mage-based, high elves are very, very good magic users. So I just equipped a flamethrower onto my offhand, and I'm going to use that as just a long-range, essentially projectile, while I'm attacking with my melee. You use your power swings, and as you back up to regain your stamina, you just keep firing at them. Now, of course, later on in the game, you'll find out that you can charge spells, which is much preferable, actually, than to just shoot the little flames in a flamethrower. You can charge your spells, and even if you dual cast them, they get even more powerful. It's much more efficient than just going through and, just blasting them with a flamethrower for half an hour. It depletes much more health. Using a melee weapon is also essentially a must. It's much more efficient than magic. Magic's very good, but not when you constantly use it. You need another source of weaponry. No one really makes just a plain mage. And on the concept of magic, you have a magicka bar, which magicka is how much magic you can use. Once your bar is depleted, you're out until it recharges. So preserving it's really handy because certain spells will use more or less. And in the spirit of preserving magicka, because in every Elder Scrolls game you're really greedy, it's why you loot every single body. Even if you know it's not going to have anything in it, or think it won't, always check the bodies like I'm doing right there. They might have something. And shelves. Shelves are absolutely brilliant. There is not a shelf in the game without something really interesting on it. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's a plate that you can sell for a few coins. I mean, I don't pick up plates right here because I'm not in the interest of taking that much time to just show you, like, how to get money. Oh, and right here, it's really good. Always favorite your items. For every, if you're gonna switch back and forth, do it. Like, I have an axe equipped, but I also have healing and I have destruction spells equipped, meaning that I'm gonna be switching back and forth. And so instead of delaying the combat and just going right back and doing the whole where I go and I scroll through the menus, I have it just saved. You just press the up arrow and it brings up your little tab, and you can switch right back and forth between them. It's really easy. It's much better and much more efficient. It also saves you the hassle when you have, 30 spells in your book. You don't have to go looking for all the useless spells you picked up. Alright. That guy had a two-handed weapon. I don't really use two-handed weapons. It's not my thing. But they're much more efficient than single-handed melee if you're gonna just focus on melee. If you're using just like a shield, it's much more effective to use to use two-handed weapons. They hit much more. Oh yes, books. That's what I was thinking about. So books are really helpful. Even if, say, you find a book laying around on a table, read it. It could be a skill book. You could learn, extra skills. You don't have to train it. Like lockpicking. I found a book just in the middle of a dungeon that gave me free lockpicking experience. It was good. I didn't have to break all my picks. Which, by the way, lockpick's a very handy skill to train. Every character will use it. Every character. There we are. Spell tomes. If it says spell tome on it, pick it up. No matter what your character is. Pick up the spell tomes. If your character doesn't use spells or magic, well, they can use the tome. It's really helpful. You don't buy spells anymore. You buy tomes. And reading a tome will teach you that spell. I think I'm going to click on here in a second. Yeah, there we go. But once you use the tome, you know that spell for good. Now, if you don't use spells, obviously you can sell the tomes and make some money to buy yourself a new axe. And once you know the spell, you have it forever and you can use it. It's really helpful when you can buy spells that are really good to you. Healing is big. Every non-magic character I make, say I have an Imperial who focuses on swordsmanship, I'll have him learn healing spells. And I'll go and I'll find tomes and I'll go buy tomes to have healing. It's much more efficient than using all those potions we had gathered, which are very important. Always search the shelves for potions. Always pick up potions. When you're down and you don't have any magicka, you don't have any health, you don't have time to regenerate in combat, they can give you a really quick boost. And it's very helpful. It's so worth buying the odd potion at the store in, Whiterun. So essentially this part of the dungeon and the quest, this quest is really easy. You don't need much to guide you. It's why I've just been going off topic. But it's just essentially running to where the light is. If you see light, run towards it. If you see a bad guy, hit it. Nothing can kill you in here. You have the guy behind you backing you up the entire time. I know people who didn't fight a single thing in this dungeon because their guy killed them all for him. But yeah, looking around as well, if you find the odd coin purse or potions, or spell tomes or even weapons, they're really helpful to the spirit of the game, in that Bethesda likes to hide things. They like to hide things and they like to make things interactive. If you see, the hanging web, if you hit it, it'll fall. If you see the lever, if you touch it, it'll do something. Oftentimes there'll be closed doors that will just be closed, and there's no way to find it unless you go around, a hidden dungeon and you find the lever in there, And opening that lever will open the door. It's really helpful. Always keep that in mind. I got stuck. And I guess that's about all the time I have. This was the very first quest where you escape from Helgen. I'm going to be leading you more in the next few quests that I do. I'm going to be telling you how to get through it, solving puzzles, working with each character. I'm going to try to accommodate the combat for everything. Oh, there we are. I'm Miasmic Smog. Thank you very much.
My sister, Gerda, runs the mill in Riverwood, just up the road. I'm sure she'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.